Hello! Welcome to Lights Out Movie Chat, movie night, with lots of jump scares, and I've turned my light off above me for a proper lights out effect. Right, I'll just add everyone in. 1 second. This is where I always worry. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I've done it right. Seems a bit quiet. Where is everyone? Who's that? Oh, it's Josh.
Hello.
Hello, you alright?
Yeah,
Hello. Yeah, not too bad. I can't believe it's that time of the month again where we get to chat horror movies. Yeah.
there's two light outside. Why is it still so light?
I know.
I can't talk about
I've had to
horror films in the daytime.
I've had to close the curtains and everything and turn the light off above me. Hi, Leeroy.
Hi guys, you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all good. Hi.
Oh, the gang's back together. Yay. Oh dear. So Josh picked this film this month.
Oh.
Jump scares galore for me.
Absolutely.
Oh dear. Yeah, so we're going to be chatting about Lights Out, which I think was it 2016. I think that came out. I've been dying to see what you guys thought of it. So I've been really excited to chat to you. So we have got brilliant Josh. 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 Joshua. And then we've got the fabulous Emma, and our special guest is Leeroy. Yay! Hello. From Slashy Horror Press, because you've started your own press company now. Yay!
Yeah.
Exciting.
It is. Scary, but exciting.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be amazing, I'm sure. So I'm just going to jump straight into it because I'm dying to know what you think. If anyone watching's got any comments, pop them up, and I'll try and read them out. But essentially, Lights Out is about Rebecca and her boyfriend, because they weren't really boyfriend and girlfriend at the start. Yeah. Tried to investigate the connection between her mother and her imaginary friend Diana, after her stepfather is murdered by a supernatural entity. Oh God, I'm not doing very well with words today. It's not gonna happen. So the film is full of jump scares, and I don't do jump scares, so this was interesting. And it covers themes of depression and mental illness, and things like that. And apparently David F. Sandberg, along with his wife, created this initial short film for a film competition. And although the film didn't win the competition, the short story went viral, and it led to Sandberg getting the contract from several agents. And one of them ended up being Lawrence Gray, who wanted to collaborate with James Wan, I think I'm saying that right, in order to produce a full-length version of this film. And I did watch. You can watch it on YouTube, the short, and it's quite scary. So the film was pushed from a winter to summer release following positive audience reaction from test screenings. And it actually made back its entire production budget on the opening day at the box office, which I think is amazing, really. So I think it earned altogether 150 million, and it was just done on a budget of 5 million. So they were well in there and made loads of money. And I've got 3 random facts which I found, and I thought, I'm gonna share them just quick before we start the chat. So the house in the movie. So does anyone know what other movies that house was used in?
I recognised it, but I don't know.
No. So it was used in Ouija. Has anyone seen that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then Ouija, Origin of Evil. I can't speak today. So it's the same house from that. And apparently the mannequins in the basement were not actually brought for the movie. So, you know, that whole basement scene at the end, they were actually already placed there by the owner.
Oh, why?
Yeah, so the owner, I wonder what they've been up to.
Do they already have the scarred faces? That's what I
Oh,
want
I
to know.
know, that's what we all want to know. And apparently the basement in the house actually caught fire a few months after production wrapped. Ooh, spooky,
Mm.
spooky. Yeah.
Very
Mm.
sweet.
Diana,
Diana, naughty
hanging
Diana.
around.
So, is Lights Out a first time watch for you, or have you seen it before? Josh, I'll go to you first because you suggested this one.
I watched this. I was very lucky that I got to interview Teresa Palmer
Oh, wow.
for this film in 2016.
Oh,
And
amazing.
so, yeah, I mean, she's amazing. She's great.
She's brilliant.
But I was sent off to a screening to watch it, and I was in the screening on my own in the front
Oh.
row, and I swear they turned off like all the emergency lights because I was fully immersed in a black box with
Oh
this
my
film,
God.
and I was just terrified the whole way through. I was like, how do I even get out of here? Yeah, so
No way.
first watch was a really quite a scary experience.
Oh my gosh, I don't know whether I could have done that, Josh.
Yeah, I don't
I had to
recommend.
watch it with in the light.
Yeah.
Oh dear. And how was Teresa Palmer when you interviewed her? Was she amazing? 'Cause she's
She's
so
so
good.
lovely.
Yeah.
She's just
Oh.
super smart, very friendly. I think I can't remember if it was this film or another film, but it was a phoner, and she was supposed to call at a certain time, and then for some reason it didn't happen. And then suddenly I had an email from Teresa Palmer saying, "Hi, we're supposed to have an email at this time, but something's gone wrong with the connecting person. Like there's always a PR who connects with the calls." And so she was like emailing all of the journalists personally to reschedule the interviews, which is just unheard of.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just brilliant. Love her.
Oh, I love her even more now.
I know.
Oh
That's so
dear.
cool.
How about you, Emma? Is this the first time you've seen this film?
First time I've seen it, yeah. And I didn't watch it in the dark or on my own in the end. I did watch it while the curtains were open. I think it's a different experience if you're not in a dark hole. I think it would have been much scarier in Josh's situation. That would have terrified me.
I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have done it at all. Like Josh, I really couldn't.
So were you too afraid to watch it in the dark, or that was just how it worked out in terms of timing?
Timing for me. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just too afraid. I watched it this morning in the light. I did try last night. I put it on the first 10 minutes and I was like, no, it's going to have to be in the morning. Wimped out. How about you, Leeroy? Is this the first time you've seen it?
Yeah, it was the first time watch for me as well. It's a funny one because it was always the poster I recognised. Like I've seen it maybe across streaming sites over the years, and I'd never actually heard of the film really, to be honest. But then, like when I saw the poster when you suggested it, and then I looked it up, I was like, okay, this could be interesting, and it actually did scare me, which most horror films don't these days. So that says a lot.
Wow! So it achieved the scare.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, amazing. So yeah, it was a first time watch for me as well, but yeah, I was a wimp and he'd quite a lot. I was like, oh, why is Josh doing this to me? So do you generally like jump scare, like the jump scare like subgenre, I guess it is, isn't it? And like elevated horror, Leeroy?
Yeah, I mean, I think nowadays it's quite a common genre. Like we're seeing more and more of these types of films coming out, and especially from like James Wan, he seems to be the front runner of these sorts of films, and with the likes of Insidious and what have you. But yeah, I mean, a lot of them I think kind of play off each other and use the same sort of themes or the same sort of jump scares now, but generally, yeah, I think it's a great subgenre.
Yeah. What about you, Emma? Do you like this like jump scare subgenre?
Yeah, I do. I do like it actually. I think though, the more you don't see, the better. As I've always said, with the jump
Mm.
scares, I don't want to see so much, and that makes it more frightening for me. So when the bits when you can't see where the monster is or where it's coming from, for me, that's the most frightening part.
Yeah. No, I think they did a good job in this film where, like, sometimes you're looking in one place and it comes from another place, and yeah, made me jump. How about you, Josh? Do you like the jump scare and the elevated horror?
I do I do like elevated horrors. I'm not sure that this is quite in the same league as like Hereditary and like that kind of elevated
I've
horror. I
not
think this is
seen
more.
that yet.
Oh,
Oh wow.
okay.
You're-
I say it every time, and I haven't seen
I would
it.
love to see
And
your reaction.
oh, are you in for a surprise, Shelley?
oh,
Go
okay,
there.
okay. I'll
No, Shelley.
I'll do a
Goes.
private video. Oh,
That would
dear,
be a
yeah.
fun watch party.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Maybe we'll have to set that up, yeah. Because I do keep saying I'll have to watch it.
Yeah,
Sorry, Josh,
you
interrupted you
should.
there.
In terms of like jump scares, yeah, they're just fun, aren't they? Like I feel like I've been slightly desensitized to them. There aren't many films that really make me jump anymore.
Mm,
I think James Wan is like he obviously didn't direct this, but he's very good at that sort of thing. Like
yeah.
Insidious has some great moments that aren't really like they're like the traditional telegraphed jump scares. They're more like things that you just suddenly notice that are like, oh God, and that's what makes you jump rather
Oh.
Yeah.
than like a cat or something, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm always up. I dare a film to make me jump now. It's like, come on.
Oh.
Challenge. Find
See,
a film, make Josh jump.
yeah, that's our mission now. That is, we've got to find one.
I'm just dead inside. That's the problem. You
Just
know? You can't make someone jump if they're dead.
well, on the total opposite, because I've not seen any, like, I've not seen Insidious, I've not seen The Conjuring, I've not seen Paranormal Activity. Like, jump scares, I just avoid. So I remember when this film came out, and I was like, hell no, no way. Because I just can't, I don't know what it is, I just can't deal with it.
Did you
Like,
not watch The Conjuring, Shelley?
No.
Did you not watch The Conjuring?
No.
Oh, you have to.
Wow.
Oh, you must.
Some great scares in that film.
Yeah, it's really, it's really cleverly done.
I-
The beginning half of it is really cleverly done.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. So there's just something in my brain that just says jump scares. It's like going to be full of them. No, don't watch it. So I just avoid everything. So I think I missed out on a lot of horror around that era where it was like all those types of films because I just avoided them and I've just refused to watch them. But I do regret it. So I need to go back and like re-educate myself and desensitize myself from these jump scares, and then I won't be scared anymore. You said.
You've got
So you
so
can be
much
dead
great
inside
stuff
like Josh.
to watch. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, I do need to go back because I feel like I've missed like a whole chunk of like years of horror out, and like I need to definitely go back and not sleep for weeks. You know, that's what's going to happen. Maybe I'll start with Hereditary.
Yes.
I wanted to see what you. I'm not starting with that.
Actually, that's
Stop
probably
him.
quite a good idea. Like, rip off
Yeah.
the band-aid, and then everything after that will be easy.
Oh my God, is it really that bad?
It's
Like,
pretty scary.
see,
Yeah.
that's why I haven't watched it though, because I knew there was jump scares or something. So I've just like gone, nope. I'm just not, like, give me like tons of blood and stuff, but jump scares, I'm like, no.
Mental note.
Yeah. I'm waiting for someone
Get
Oh,
to
dear.
jump out.
Reality out in real life.
Oh gosh, now I'm worried about watching that Hereditary now. I'm sure I've said this before, and I said I'd watch it, and then I've like wimped out of it. So I've got it. This is my commitment now. I'm going to have to do it. So director David Sandberg, he aimed to use as much like authentic lighting in the film as possible. And so some scenes were only lit by candlelight or fluorescent tubes, which I think is pretty amazing, really, like to make the film. So do you think the use of the light and the dark was effective, and like did it help with the jump scares? What do you think, Emma?
Yeah, I think it did. I liked I really did like one of the light, the red light outside. I think it was like a motel light or something flashing on and off through her bedroom, through Rebecca. Is it Rebecca's the girl, isn't
Yeah.
she? Through her bedroom. I thought that was quite clever because you know, you can't control that. You can't turn, so you're not turning the light on and off. It's you know, it's coming on, it's going off, it's coming on, it's going off, and you're safe, you're not safe, you're safe, you're not safe.
Yeah.
And I quite like that. I quite like that play on lights. And the other thing I liked was when Brett ran out of the house. So not, yeah, mine are quite different kind of light effects that I liked. He ran out of the house and then he pressed his car keys. And then the headlights came on. So I was like, that's a very clever idea. You know, they were thinking of ways, different kinds of lights and ways they could play with that. And so I thought that was quite cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
that was
it.
a good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And I liked like you say, like the scene with the red light. And because have you seen what's that film called? Last Night in Soho, where they used that type of effect really, really well. Yeah, and in the bedroom, it's like really effective. I really like that film. I know it's a bit controversial because people didn't like a certain aspect of it. I won't ruin it.
Really?
But yeah.
Well,
have you seen that film, Leroy?
Yeah.
Josh hasn't seen it. Yes, I mean, do you know what I mean when I'm saying people didn't like a certain aspect of it? Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
do you know what? It's a fabulous film, and it's got an
it's really
soundtrack.
good.
It's fabulous, honestly.
Yeah, and they use that play on lights and really cleverly in a couple of the scenes. It's really good.
A lot of that, I think, stems from Dario Argento, because he used a lot of that in the original Suspiria. And I think people always say when it comes to red lights and horror or bright fluorescent lights and horror, and it stems back to that. But I always think it's obviously been passed down. The filmmakers have seen it and they want to use it in their own films, and it's a great effect. This film used it cleverly.
Yeah. And was there any particular scenes that stood out for you, like the way they used the lighting in this film, in Lights Out?
For me, I mean, I know it's it was a bit of a reveal, I suppose, but the UV light, I think, was just absolutely, like, that scene was just amazing. It was gorgeous lighting, and then obviously the mannequins, and I just know it's gonna be Diana, one of these mannequins, but still.
Oh, that was scary. That was. Didn't like that. I was hiding. How about you, Josh? Did you like the way they did like the lighting and things like that?
It was one of those films where you were like, okay, somebody researched all the different types of light. You know, they had like the wind up light that
the torch.
I really liked that idea. That was really my favourite. I think the only thing that I was a bit sort of like about was that they, in the very opening scene, which is awesome, they had the light bulb going out kind of on its own, and I was like, that's quite early for you to use that, to play that card. I feel like they could have used that maybe a bit later in the film, because you're kind of thinking like, oh God, like, okay, he's safe now, the light's on, how are they, you know, how's the thingy going to get him? I think they could have been a bit cleverer with that bit in particular. But yeah, I think you could see that they had put the time in, they'd figured out all the different types of lighting they could use, and it was really effective.
Yeah. I loved the bit with I forgot the boyfriend's name, but the boyfriend, obviously, when Diana's coming for him, and like he's lost all sorts of light sources, and she's about to pounce, and he just whips his phone out and like shines the light. And I was like, I just thought that was good. It kind of reminded me. It's not the same at all. There's no monsters in it, but kind of reminded me of how they did bodies, you know, like with the phone lights under them and things. I love that film.
No, my favourite use of the light was the cop firing his gun.
Oh,
that was super cool.
Yeah, that was clever because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
firing it, and then you just see Diana like just. Oh,
That was
yeah, that's a good one. That
very
is.
clever.
Yeah, and I like the UV light as well. Like Leroy said, that was that had me like my heart was going then because you just know like UV
Yeah.
light, basement, mannequins.
What's she gonna find?
No.
No.
So apparently Diana was originally supposed to be more of a like demonic presence, but James Wan suggested that she have like a human background, so that she'd have like some type of relationship with Sophie, and then add a connection to the family. So did you like the backstory of like Sophie and Diana, and was it feasible and believable, do you think, Josh?
I loved it. I thought the backstory was probably the strongest part of the film, which is amazing considering it was clearly inspired by a short film that wouldn't have had any of that stuff at all. So I
Yeah.
thought that was great. I thought it was seriously creepy. I loved the idea of the experiment gone wrong, you know, that light sensitivity that we obviously know from like films like The Others. And then in this film, there's a horrific experiment, and that image of the chair with
Oh
ash
yeah.
burned into it is just so memorable and so creepy.
Yeah.
I think it felt like something from the X-Files.
Mm.
I felt like this film felt like an episode of the X-Files, just without
Yeah.
Mulder and Scully in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I thought that was really effective, really clever, and it led to some really creepy moments, like the mother being tugged back into the bedroom by Diana. That was just
Yeah.
brilliant.
Like when she gives that note over to the
Yeah,
daughter, and then you
yeah,
just see like, oh yeah,
yeah. I
it's
thought
just
it was
subtle,
great.
isn't it? Yeah, really subtle. How about you, Emma? Did you like the backstory of like Sophie and Diana?
No.
Oh
No.
no! Don't be so fickle, Emma.
Everything that Josh said was brilliant. I mean, you know, he's got a brilliant mind for things like this. But for me, I wanted her not to be real. I would have preferred she was never a real person, and that she was a manifestation of Sophie's depression,
Yeah.
personally. Because she kept saying, we had an agreement, you don't hurt my children. And all I could think of is she's mentally ill, and they've played the mental illness a lot. But it wasn't, this was just disjointed for me, because you know, I know she was in a mental institution, and that's how she met Diana, and this all went along like that. But for me, I'd rather it have been something she'd manifested from her illness, because children get caught in the crossfire when you've got mental illness, whether you want them to or not. I know that from personal experience. And so if she felt abandoned, the what was her name? Rebecca, the older girl. Her older girl felt abandoned by her dad. Her dad, you know, obviously died, and then abandoned by a mother who wasn't there, and was letting this monster affect her. And I felt like it would have been much stronger for me if she wasn't real, and she was something that she had manifested and was controlling with drugs, you know, because she was taking a medication, and the depression monster was placated. Was that the right word? Yeah. You know, subdued. And then it was coming to the forefront because she'd stopped taking her drugs, and it was getting stronger and worse. So for me, that would have been what I'd have liked. But, you know, the backstory was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. It was a good idea. But for me, I would have liked that.
Yeah,
I like
now
that
you've
idea.
said that, Emma, I actually really like that, and I think
Yeah.
that would have worked really well.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
you
because
kind of get that in the Babadook, so I
I
wonder
was
if
just gonna
maybe
say,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they tried to be a bit different in that respect, but I think all along I was kind of thinking it was going to be along those lines at the end,
Yeah.
like how you described it, Emma. So yeah, I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
wasn't sure what it was at first. I was like, is it her imaginary friend? Is it all in her head? What the hell is it? You know, so that was good. I kept guessing. But yeah, I would have just preferred, I think that would have been just a little bit less fussy. Does that make sense? A little bit easier to follow? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Melina's just put, I really like that perspective, Emma. I think you need to write the alternative, Emma. Yeah. Melina put as well, you'd want to be heard, wouldn't you, if you got disappeared like Diana? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, definitely. How about you, Leroy? Did you like the backstory?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both Josh and Emma on this for different reasons. For me, the backstory was good because it was, even though she was real, it was like that symbolism of her mental illness and her depression. But I think what the director and the writers were probably going for was by making her real, they were making that issue real. And like Josh said with the Babadook, I think they did the manifestation of such an entity that hangs over somebody with the grief and what have you. I think they did that in their own way, but with this, it was a little bit different, and I kind of like that they did go in that direction. But yeah, to be honest, I could see why both of you liked it for different reasons, or why you didn't like it for different reasons.
Yeah. I can't say anything more intelligent than you guys, so I'm just going with it because I was a bit like, yeah, I can understand it. However, I think I'm more with Emma that I would have liked it to have been that. But then you would get people just saying, "Oh, it's just the Babadook." Like, did this come out before the Babadook or after?
After?
Was it after?
Just after, I think.
So you see, they would have got those comparisons, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I don't
if they'd
know
gone
what that
there.
is.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
Babadook is.
think you'd like that, Emma.
Ooh,
I think,
good.
I think
Oh,
you'd like
really?
that one. Now, see,
Yeah, I've
that's a
not heard of
jump
that.
scare one, and I have seen that, but that was mainly because my sister made me watch it, and she just laughed all the way through it, so I was safe. I had someone to watch it with, because Kevin won't watch like these like jump scare films.
Chris doesn't like them, and then at first he said he wouldn't watch it with me, and then he said, "Okay, if we're watching it now while it's light, I'll do it." He hates ghosts.
Oh, I like that. So the actors auditioning for the role of Martin, so the little boy, had to basically improvise a scene with Sandberg where I think he took like a flashlight off them, and then they had to try and get it back. And Gabriel Bateman, who played Martin,
That's a
he was
great
the
horror
only.
name.
Oh no! He was the only actor who physically tried to pull the flashlight back from Sandberg, and he accidentally hurt Sandberg's arm in the process. But he ended up getting the role because of the passion for what he did. But I kind of I thought he was fantastic in this. He was brilliant. I'm not sure I've seen him in anything else. I probably have, but I don't recognise him.
He in the Annabelle film, the first Annabelle, I
Oh.
think. Yeah.
Oh, see, I haven't seen that. See, jump scares and creepy dolls. No. See, I have missed a whole chunk of my horror education out.
You've missed the One-verse.
Yes, I have. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I really liked him, and I liked the relationship that he had with Rebecca. Oh, my cat's trying to get in the door. If you see the door open, it's the cat.
I'll bring my cat outside.
I can hear her scratching on the door. That's why I just looked over my shoulder then. So, what did you think of Rebecca and Martin's sister brother relationship? Did you like it, Leeroy?
I did, yeah. Do you know what? I don't know if you guys, obviously Josh has seen this, but I don't know if you guys thought. At first, I thought he was gonna be her son, and that was the impression I got. I don't know if it's just because there was that close up of them together in the photo, early on, and I thought, is there a bit more behind this? But as it went on, their sibling relationship, I thought was really strong and really believable. And I think it was that protection that Rebecca had for him. Obviously, her own issues with her mother and stuff, and that's what I think was a driving force behind her character, which I think was brilliant.
Yeah. Did you get the impression that they hadn't seen each other for quite a while, before seeing? I wasn't quite sure on timelines, kind of thing, but I thought that she hadn't been involved in their life for a while, but I wasn't. I might have that wrong.
I think they were alluding to that when she showed up at the school, and he was like, "Oh, you came."
Oh
yeah, for a while.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, I wondered that. I thought, I wonder if they haven't seen each other for a while, but he still relies on her, he gets the school to call and things like that. How about you, Josh? Did you like their relationship?
Yeah.
Did it come across
I
genuine?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was really well done. I felt like it was more interesting in the first half of the film when there was sort of room for them to dance around each other a bit, and the relationship is a bit fraught. I thought she was great. I loved her for the first half, especially. I thought she was so good because you can just sense that the weight of what she's carrying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of wished that there had been a bit more of it as the film went on. It felt like, because her hair, there were a couple of scenes where she's clearly wearing a wig, and I
Yeah.
couldn't tell if it was like reshoots or if she just. I know that she was doing another film at some point as well where she had shorter black hair or something. So the scenes where she had the wig, I was like, did they add those in order to sort of bulk up the relationship, or did those scenes already exist
Yeah.
and they just had to shoot them at the end of production? I don't know. But yeah, I felt like I wanted a bit more of that relationship, and there were certain moments where the film cheated a bit. So like when they were down in the basement, and she finds the UV light and she says that she's going to go check inventory to leave him on his own, and I was like,
Yeah.
mate, seriously, no, you wouldn't do that.
No, you wouldn't, would you?
Yeah, but I thought they were great.
She'd had enough of him by then. She was
She's
like,
like,
yeah, just take
I'm
him,
stuck in the
Diana.
fire.
It's too many.
Just catch on fire, it's fine.
I must admit, though, it was really distracting for me with the wig, because one scene she'd have a normal hair and it'd shoot back, and then she's just got like this this Robin Tunney's wig in the craft and run for its money. I must say that it's a different shade and it's really thick, and it's just, you can tell it's not her hair.
In her final fight in the landing and in the hallway, they intercut shots of her with the wig on and not with the wig on, and her hair is so beautiful naturally that it's so obvious that it's a wig.
Oh,
But I know these
Oh
things
my God,
happen.
I didn't notice that at all.
It's funny you say it, because I thought it. I thought, I'm sure she's wearing a wig there. And then all of a sudden, not. And I was like, no, it's me. And then I was like, so I'm glad you said that.
I swear the boy looks like just a little bit older. It's the scene when she sits him down in her apartment with the lamp on, and she explains again the whole Diana thing. And I swear, like, he looks a good couple of months older, so I swear that was a reshoot.
I didn't even notice.
Ooh, I like it. How about you, Emma? Did you like the relationship that they had?
Yeah, I thought it was quite real. I thought that she was kind of in and out of his life as and when it suited her, rather than her being absent for a while. I felt like she had a lot going on, and he was just kind of, you know, I'll come and see you when I've got time or whatever. And so when he said you came, it was like, oh, you do care, because you did turn up. You know, normally you just say you're going to come and then you don't, or you're here and then you're not. You know, you come and by and see mum and then you disappear again. I felt it was that kind of relationship. But yeah, and then he's just obviously them going through the same thing at different ages was quite cool, because she was like, they had something to relate to each other then. Because of the big age gap, there's, you know, as you say, she wasn't mothering him at all, but she was trying to protect him because she knew what it been like she'd gone through the same thing. Yeah, which is interesting. That, and I thought that the lady from the school nurse or whoever it was, the social worker who came to visit them, I thought that was a nice touch of her saying what it would be like if you tried to get guardianship of the boy. This is what will happen. And she's sort of thinking, oh gosh, I can't do that. I can't go with, you know, I can't betray my mother, because, you know, we know it's this beast, really. It's not really her. And I can't go through all that myself. So I thought that was very, you know, that was very interesting. That's a
good scene.
I thought it was very realistic.
Yeah. I thought I loved the relationship between them, just because they're just both great actors, and I just think they pulled it off, and it was believable. And I was like, you could tell they cared about each other, even though they potentially hadn't seen each other for a while. And yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. Bless them. So apparently, Teresa Palmer, who plays Rebecca, hadn't seen the design of Diana before filming. Oh my God, can you imagine seeing that for the first time? So she hadn't seen it until she filmed her first scene, which was on a completely dark set. So apparently this was an intentional directorial choice to provoke like a genuine reaction of fear for when she first saw Diana. And apparently Diana was created with like a photorealistic prosthetic kind of suit, so that would function as like a green screen suit to remove her from the scene when the lights came on, which I think is quite clever. So what did you think of Diana as like this evil supernatural entity? Like, was she scary to you, Leeroy?
She was. I think it was more the jump scares more than anything, if I'm being honest. To me, it's. I think we see a lot of Dianas nowadays in a lot of horror films, like that type of style, and
Yeah.
it's not really original now, but I can appreciate what more than anything it is the jump scares and what they do with the lighting that makes this scary for me. It's not necessarily the design of the monster or the creature, if you will. But yeah, like it's kind of been there, done that for me.
Yeah. How about you, Emma? What did you think? Did you think she was like scary?
I think like Josh, I've seen, and like Leroy's just said, I've seen a lot of that kind of thing. So I didn't find her as frightening. I think also for me, in the beginning, it went straight to her. And I felt like we needed some build up. Like I needed some build up. Like usually in horror, it would be something happens here, we haven't seen the monster yet. Something happens there, we haven't seen the monster yet. Yeah, we're anticipating seeing the beast unleashed. And we saw it straight away. So for me, although when he was switching the light on and off, and it was there and it wasn't there, and it was there and it wasn't there, that was great.
Yeah.
But then we saw it straight away after that with the rings of light on the floor and her coming towards him. And I think that took the scare factor out of it for me. Like it wasn't scary anymore because I've seen it. But I think if there were little bits leading up, strange things happening, you know, ash piled around and, you know, things from her, I would have been like, what's that ash doing there? Oh my God. Or fires lighting, you know, or something. I don't know, but something else. Do you know what I mean? And then I would have been like, oh, it is, you know. Right.
Yeah, it was quite a bold choice to like show Diana straight away, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't think it worked personally. I think it made her less scary. I think I would have liked if I'd like Josh say with the light going out a bit later in the film.
Yeah. How about you, Josh? Did you find her scary or just nah?
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like similar to what both Leroy and Emma have said, is that we have had a lot of monsters that look like that now. And also, I had forgotten that you do pretty much see her straight off the bat. It probably would have benefited from hiding her a bit more. But I think, like the short film, I haven't seen the short film in a long time, but is the opening scene basically very similar to what the short film was?
Yeah.
So I guess
I
that's
think
why
it's just
they
set in
showed
the
her.
apartment, like set in an apartment rather than the shop or whatever they were in, I think. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I watched it earlier.
Yeah, so I thought she was creepy, and I liked the cat eyes. Like for me, this film wasn't so much about depression as it was about what it's like to live with a cat. Because as soon as you turn the lights off in the house, you're going to get attacked.
That's so true. Or a teenager.
Oh yeah.
Peering.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think for me, because obviously, yes, it's common knowledge. I haven't watched many of these types of films, but I think for me, like, it desensitized me seeing her so early on because I found the first few jump scares quite. I was a bit like, oh, like behind my blanket. Oh, I don't like it. I can't look. But then after a while, because I'd seen her and I knew her form, what she was essentially, like it just desensitized me, so it didn't make me jump as much as we went into the film. So I do think it could have benefited.
Creepier when you just saw like a black
the
doorway.
Shadow, yeah, and then like as you say with the lights on and off. But yeah, by the end I was just like, oh, there she is. There she is again.
I really wish they hadn't showed her in the UV light. I felt like that completely
because
demystified her.
Isn't that like why wouldn't that light have done the same damage as normal light? I didn't get that.
I think the idea is that UV light's meant to reveal what's not there. I think that's what they were kind of going for with that. Like, you know, like what you can't see.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
thinking,
okay,
is
yeah.
she a vampire as well? Why is she burning?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
she did kill Charlie Swan in the beginning, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it did confuse me about the UV light. I have to admit, I was like, wait, what's going to show up on her? That's been a bit rude there. Um, moving on. What I did like as well was the fact that she wasn't just confined to that house. Like she could move wherever she wanted. Like the shop, the Rebecca's apartment. It's like, but I wish I'd had a bit more explanation on. Not like how she did it as such, like did she catch the tube or whatever, but like how did she do that? But do you know what I mean? It's like, how did she just manifest herself into, like, how did she know where they lived? Like, I've got questions.
Yeah, I thought that too, Shelley.
It didn't make sense. I was like, oh, okay. So, like, she knows where Rebecca lives. Like, how? how does she know? So, yeah, it was just at the end, I was like, wait a
Like
second.
family GPS.
So another twist that Sandberg liked, I think when they were doing like rewrites from his short story, was the fact that the imaginary friend was for the mother rather than the trope of having the friend for the child. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it worked? Was it a unique thing for the time? Like, I haven't seen other films like this, but was it a unique thing doing that, or has it been done before? Josh?
I don't know if it's been done before, but I like the idea of flipping it. I don't know if they made it quite clear enough that I got that until you said it, kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, imaginary friend, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's a clever idea. It's a great idea.
Yeah. How about you, Leroy? Do you think it was that a unique thing for around this time? So like 2016, it was a bit of a flip.
I mean, I think it was a unique idea, but like Josh said, it's that's the only thing I kind of find confusing because it's like, is she a real person? Is she just an attachment? Is she imaginary? And I think some films nowadays, they are trying to move away from the child with the imaginary friend that does naughty things and going more towards adults or teens and what have you. Like there's a film called Daniel Isn't Real where that happens, where he's older. But yeah, it was confusing for me as well, to be fair. But I kind of see what they were going for. I think it was an interesting concept, basically, rather than having it attached to the child or even to Teresa Palmer's character.
Yeah.
Because like that's obviously the thing that binds the siblings together. So.
Yeah. How about you, Emma? Did you like that aspect, or didn't really notice it or anything?
Well, I was trying to work out, like everyone else, I was just trying to work out what they were going for. What was the main theme running through the story? So I was like, is it that she's a real person and that she died and become a ghost? Is it that she's manifested from a depression? Is it an imaginary friend? All these things were going around in my head and I couldn't quite settle on any of them.
Yeah.
So I think, like you say, it wasn't clear enough through the wasn't quite clear enough. We didn't quite get what they were trying to put across, because I think maybe there were so many ideas going on that the audience was a bit like, which one is it?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think I quite clocked that towards the end when I thought, oh wait a sec, it is the mother whose imaginary friend it was, which I thought, oh okay, it might be a bit of a unique thing for its time, maybe. I thought, like a bit of a twist. So with regard to the ending then, so the director Sandberg, so he revealed that in the original screen testings he actually had an alternative ending. So Diana returned after Sophie's death. So obviously Sophie dies via suicide, to like kind of protect the children, to get rid of Sophie and that attachment. So Diana returns after Sophie's death, to attack Rebecca, Brett, which was the boyfriend, and Martin. and it was a scene that occurred after that ambulance scene. But it got a very negative reaction, so the scene was removed and it was included as like a feature on the Blu-ray and DVD. So did you like the original ending, or would you have liked something extra, like a shock value kind of thing at the end? Emma?
I don't know. I guessed that the mum was going to do that. I mean, from the start, I knew the mum was going to take herself out. That was always where it was going. So I was like, this is because obviously I thought it was the depression monster. So of course I knew the mum was going to take herself out. That was going to happen to save the children. The mum would sacrifice herself because any mother would. But yeah, I don't know. It ended, for me, that ending was typical. So perhaps had they done that and brought it back and gone, actually, no, it's not that, right? And that's why she can move between the places, because she's actually attached to the family, not just the mother. And you're now in trouble. What are you going to do? You're not going to all blow your own brains out. So what are you going to do? How are you going to get rid of her? How are you going to vanquish her? I probably would have quite liked that, actually.
Yeah. Oh, now you've said that, yeah. I'm quite with that. How about you, Leeroy? What did you think? Did you like the original ending, or did you want something more?
I wanted something more. I just couldn't tell you what I wanted more. But I think the ending that they had originally with the Diana coming back, it would have been cliche. I was expecting that, to be fair. By the end, I thought, okay, after this ambulance scene, they're going to be nice and cozy with a hot chocolate in bed. They'll turn the lights out and she's going to show up. But it didn't happen, and I was like, oh, okay, that's the ending. That was abrupt. So I suppose what they were trying to do is maybe bring it to just a close straight away. But apparently, they want a sequel. Apparently, a sequel was meant to be in the works. So perhaps, it was just that test reaction where the director thought, okay, I'll take that out.
Yeah. How about you, Josh? Did you like the end, or did you want something more? It was a bit like Scream-esque at the end, I thought, with
definitely.
The house.
Yeah. It does. It ends on kind of like an off note. Like it feels like an offbeat. You know, like where it's that kind of film where you do kind of expect and want a bit of a cheesy little jump at the end. Like even if they had just had like a shadow watching the ambulance, just something that was a bit of like a final little shiver, maybe that would have given it more punch. But yeah, it was like nice sort of ending where they were all reunited, and she's got a boyfriend now, and that's nice, and she kind of got on with the brother, saved the brother, and that was nice as well. But yeah, you kind of did want it to have a little bit more of a dig at the end.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think when it got to the end, I actually held my thing up because I thought there was going to do like a one last jump scare, like at the camera kind of thing. Because I'm sure I've seen a film that. Well, there's probably many films that have done it. Oh yes, that was it. I knew there was. I couldn't think
that's
what it was.
I was expecting. I was expecting something like that, where they'll be at home, they're having a lovely time, they're in a relationship, it's great, and then
So I was
going to take out the boyfriend, because then it would have just been the siblings left on their own. So I'd have been like, come back and take out the boyfriend.
I kind of loved that he lived though, because you were so expecting him to die. But I liked the fact that he didn't in some way.
That's true.
Yeah, because when he gets in that car and runs off, I was like, no way, has he just run off? No way.
Well, quite late on, I thought, this has got a really low body count. And then when the cops showed up, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to get rid of people we don't care about.
Yeah. So, Leroy, you mentioned about that there was a potential sequel. Like, do you think that it would have worked, a sequel?
I think it depends how they go about it. I mean, it depends if they want to go down the route of let's bring back Rebecca. And to be honest, I could see if they were going to do it, she would probably be the opening kill, and it would be about the little boy as the last remaining family member. That's where I could see it going. But if they were to do a completely different cast, I'd be a bit like, well, why is Diana attached to this lot now? I mean, obviously,
caught a plane.
Yeah, but obviously, it's 2016 it came out, right? So it's been a while. So it just depends if the actors are still interested, or if they if they go in a different route. I don't know if it would work. So.
Yeah. How about you, Josh? Would you have liked a sequel?
I think that the idea is strong enough for a sequel. I think it's a very clever idea. It's sort of like what Final Destination did, where the slasher killer is actually death itself, which is very smart. And I think that the concept of a killer who only attacks you in the dark is brilliant and so clever, so easy to sort of understand and sort of tell people about. Oh, it's a killer just gets you in the dark. Don't turn the lights out. It's brilliant. So I could see the scope for a franchise, definitely. But I do think that if they did a sequel now, they would have to start fresh. I mean, they could have the brother be older now and fighting a different thing in the dark. Like there's scope for somebody else, not necessarily Diana, because there could have been other experiments done to other people, kind of thing. So yeah, I definitely would watch a sequel. I don't know that it would have like Teresa Palmer or anybody in it. I think it's been too long now.
Yeah. How about you, Emma? Would you like to sequel?
I think there was a lot of missed opportunities. So yeah, I would. I think that there was opportunities to really play on the childhood fear of, when you're going to the toilet in the night and it's dark and your mum says you're not allowed to put on the landing light because it will wake them up. And when I was a kid, I was absolutely terrified because I thought there were ghosts in my house. So I would be like, and the stairs would creak, and I would be like this, and I would get out of my cupboards really quick, run to the bathroom really quick, turn on the bathroom light, shut the door, turn on the bathroom, go to the toilet, run, leap onto my bed. Do you know what I mean? Like that. Trying to avoid the dark spaces.
I still do that.
So true. I do that now because of the cost of living crisis. But
that kind of terror, clutching into that kind, because the boy was scared, but it wasn't that terror from your childhood, was it? I didn't get that feeling. So I'd like Josh says, if there were more experiments and it was a new, maybe it is the boy and he's grown up and he's got his own little ones and he knows what this is. The little ones are experiencing it, but then he's like, wait a minute. Wait, no, this can't be happening again. And perhaps Rebecca just went mad because she saw her mum kill herself. So, and he was quite young, so young kids tend to bounce back, but perhaps she's completely, and he goes to find her and says, oh my God, it's happening again. And she's like, no, it's not, So I would love to see that. That would be cool.
See, we need Emma to write the sequel. That's what we need.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that internet meme that was on Instagram the other day? It's like it's that one where someone's trying to plug in a plug, but a hand keeps getting in the way.
Oh yes.
And like the next bit of that video is him turning off the lights, and as soon as he turns the lights off, people start chasing him through the house.
Yeah, I've seen
really
that.
Creepy, actually.
I was like, this is what I do at night. When I turn the light off, I bomb it. Oh dear. Yeah, I wondered, like, you guys will be able to answer this because I'm not sure. So I'm guessing like this was one of the first kind of films in this like subgenre of those type of films coming out. So I wonder whether they just missed the opportunity to do a sequel because they've got better films coming out after that. Maybe. Because I'm guessing you had like Insidious and stuff like that, like maybe around that time or after. I'm just guessing maybe they just thought, oh, it's not worth it because there's other better films now that have done the things we wanted to do, maybe. But
that could be.
Yeah.
And also, didn't David Sandberg get really busy with? He did Annabelle Creation, that sequel, which is really good, and then he did Shazam, I think.
Oh, did he?
And possibly Shazam 2. I feel like that's true. So his career went like that.
Yeah.
So maybe he was like, I'm too busy.
Just like, It kick-started his career at the end of the day, didn't it? Definitely. Cameron's put, I haven't seen the film, but your description sounded a lot like the darker than dark villain from Shelley's Point Hard Book Club. Well, funny enough, because when we were thinking about what film to do, Emma hadn't read the book at the time, so I didn't want to spoil the book for Emma. So I messaged Josh and said, this is the synopsis from me reading the book, what film do you think would fit? Because I didn't want to ruin the book for Emma. And then Josh said, "Oh, Lights Out," and I was like,
Yeah. Well done,
"Oh,
Josh.
jump
That's
scares."
perfect. Perfect.
So why do you think that Lights Out then made such an impression at the box office? Like, it made a lot of money, especially like in its opening weekend, as I said at the beginning. Like, why do you think that was? Was it unique for its time, maybe, or something? Leroy?
I think it's just like you say, that it was that time where all those sorts of horror films were coming out, and everyone was just anticipating the next one. I mean, you know, it was jumping on the bandwagon of the whole Waniverse, I guess. But like, obviously he produced it, but like, everyone wanted to see those sorts of films. Like, that was what you wanted to go to the theatre to see as a horror
Except
film at
me.
the time. But yeah, like, I think. Yeah, it was probably. I think if it was to come out now, it might be a bit less successful, a little bit more, just because there have been so many. But yeah, like, during that time, there was just a new one coming out every couple of months.
Yeah. How about you, Josh? Why do you think it was so successful at the time? Do you agree with Leroy?
Yeah, totally. Like, I think Leroy's 100% right on.
Yeah.
And also, I do think it's, like Emma was saying, it's that really primal thing of don't turn out the lights because something's going to get you. I think that's something that's like innate to us, that is just terrifying. And this film would have marketed that brilliantly, I think.
Yeah. What do you think, Emma?
I agree with both Josh and Leroy on those things. And I think as a bookseller, when I'm looking to sell something, I'm looking for the most simplest part of the concept, because you've got a whole book there and so much going on. You know, and for instance, I've got a signing with Annabelle Steadman tomorrow, and I'm actually going to a launch the day after, so I'll see her 2 days. But she's done Scandar and the Unicorn Thief, and the concept is, it's a whole great, fantastic story for kids, but it's bloodthirsty unicorns, so they're not fluffy. So there's your concept. You know, this is why it was so successful. It was £1 million deal and 7-way fight between publishers, because that concept alone is unique. And I think, but also, you know, everybody loves unicorns, so it's same but different. And with the Lights Out, it's the same but different. We want to see what the spin is on this, on why you're afraid of the dark, why you want to keep the lights on. Because what Josh says, it's something we know and something that's in all of us, but also a new spin on it. So that's easy money straight in the door.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are so clever. I'm just sitting here going, yeah. Oh, honestly.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, you are.
Got a clever hat on today, I think.
So obviously this was like kind of, I'm not going to say it's my first jump scare film, but as I mentioned, I've just avoided all of these, but I actually did enjoy it. And I think that I am now brave enough to watch some of the ones I haven't. So recommend me some jump scare films, and I've got my little pen, and I'm going to write them down, and I'm going to watch them. So
do the
The Conjuring, okay.
Insidious.
Insidious.
Oh yeah, Insidious, totally.
Oh God. Is that, hang on, I think I might have seen something with that, with a man with like a red face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yes.
There's also a really creepy song in it that my husband always sings.
Is there?
Yeah. It will earworm you for weeks.
Will it?
Yeah.
Okay. Any more jump scare recommendations?
Oh God.
Hereditary.
Terrible lot off my head.
Hereditary. Okay. And you mentioned Annabelle, didn't you, earlier? So I need to have a look at that, don't I?
Yeah.
I thought it was funny in the Midnight Club when you didn't know. And you said to me, you messaged me and said, "Oh, there's no jump scares in the book, was there?" I'm like,
And they did that episode where they break like the jump scare record. I was like, no. I just don't know what it is. See, but I'm gonna educate myself, desensitize myself from all these jump scares. Maybe I'll start with Hereditary.
Yeah,
Please
just
do.
yeah, just start off with that one, and you'll be great after that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like I actually feel like quite anxious about it. This is how I get. Like, I don't know what it is. There's obviously something. Like, obviously, you know, I blame my nan for like a lot of the things like to do with horror, but there's obviously something she must have shown me when I was younger, or my brother did, because my brother used to like chase us around the garden with his pellet gun and shoot us and stuff. So like,
Jump.
yeah, so obviously something is ingrained in my brain that I'm just like, no, I'm not watching them. But yeah, I think it's time now,
You've
because I
got a
did
bank
quite like
holiday
this.
Monday. Just get up nice and early when it's daytime, and pop on Hereditary.
Have you
Oh
have you seen The Last of Us, Shelley, the TV show?
no,
Yeah, it's
Is
twist
that-
on zombies. That's jump scares.
Ooh.
It's
Ooh.
really
I need to
good.
watch that as well.
Who doesn't love
Ooh.
Pedro Pascal, you know? So yeah,
Well,
get into
yeah,
it.
I'm already
The girl
sold.
played Ellie. Yeah,
Sold.
she's brilliant.
Cameron's put, I'm writing these films down as ones to continue to hide from as I'm such a scaredy cat. See, I am the same. Like, give me like stabby blood and everything. I'm absolutely fine. I'm like, yeah. But anything like jumping out, no. Karen's put, I watch these movies through your chats without ever having to see the terror in person. And Karen said she loved The Last of Us. And Melina's put, I'll watch it with you, Shelley. So which one? Like all of them. Like, oh, should we start with Hereditary, Melina? I'm scared. Oh dear. Yeah, I'll blame you guys if I have nightmares. Oh, but thank you. Like I did, and thanks for suggesting the film, because I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't have watched it otherwise, if I'm honest. But overall, did you like the film, Josh? Yeah, Leeroy. Yeah, Emma. Oh, I knew Emma was going to do.
It's kind of in the middle.
Oh, in the middle. Yeah. I knew Emma was going to do
Like
that.
half
Yeah.
of.
I did like the concept. I thought it was some good ideas in there. Really good.
Yeah, and I liked it, so I'm definitely going to be brave. I'm going to watch those suggestions and have nightmares. But thanks for chatting to me about it, and thanks everyone
Shelley.
in the comments.
Thanks,
And
Shelley.
do check out Josh's book.
Yes.
And Burn the Negative comes out soon. When's it come out, Josh?
11th of July.
11th of July.
So excited for it, Josh, honestly.
I
Can't wait to
know.
read it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And then Emma sent me this.
Oh.
Is it this one you sent me? Yeah. This other one. And apparently,
Lord.
Emma's story, I'm going to read it like probably tomorrow. And it's about creepy pasta, which is why Emma sent it me, because you know that I don't understand.
Creepy pasta. It's about
Oh!
Actual pasta this time? Or...
I'll read it tomorrow and I'll message you, Emma. But yeah, Emma's got some short stories in here, and they're really good. And also as well, Leeroy, I haven't got a physical copy because I read it on the Kindle, but I got a picture here of Leeroy's Camp Silver Oaks, and it's so cool. Oh, it was really good, and I'm hoping we're getting a sequel, Leeroy.
We are, absolutely. Yes, it is coming. Brody's just a bit busy at the minute, but it is coming.
Yay, sequel! And it's getting a recover as well. You've designed like a new cover for it, haven't you? Yeah, looks super cool. So yeah, I'll post it, like when I post the chat, I'll post it like after, because it looks really, really good. Yeah, so thanks guys, and
thanks, Shelley.
I'll speak to you next month. I think. Oh, we've already picked the film for next month.
Have we?
Yeah.
What is it?
I sort of just said we're doing this film,
Oh.
so we're going to do Chopping Mall.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think I've actually got myself organised and thought ahead for a change, instead of like randomly texting going help me. Oh, thanks guys.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
later.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.